Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Valagar Aloevain, back for some more Dungeons & Dragons Online. See, here again, we are out in Wayland. We're actually on to our last part of the Wayland prison chain. Now, in order to access Wayland, you do need to head through the northern section of Evening Star, which will then bring you to the docks here. And from here, you'll pick up the quest, head up the ramp, and right into the prison. Now, you will notice that it is currently active. That's because we just ran a quest out here. Now, if you did watch that video, you'll know that it was the merchant townhouse right here. Now, the reason I wanted to have this still active is if you watch the end of that last video, there are two ways to access this quest here, Mirror Darkly. If you had completed all the quests there, and the last one you had done was at the merchant's townhouse there, the Thrill of the Hunt, you can actually go ahead and open up this door right here. You can open up this door on the other side. If you've done that, this is definitely your fastest route in order to get to that end quest. Well, not your fastest, but your fastest on the cheap aspect, as it didn't cost you anything. Now, there are two other ways to get to that location. I'm just going to head back to start to show you there. Now, the fastest is actually to talk to the lizard folk right here, or the lizard man, and he can teleport you straight to the quest, but again, he charges you 3 astral shards. So again, not the good. The other way is we actually got to head all the way around to the merchant townhouse. So I will just show you that path here in case you haven't watched those other videos. So we're going to want to start right here. We're going to actually want to head this first right, and we're going to want to head up against this giant wall here. So you'll notice on my map it's kind of a giant black square in the center. You want to just essentially keep hugging up against it, making your way all the way around until you get back to the merchant townhouse where that previous quest was. So here we are. You also notice again a gate here, but the lever is on the other side. So just hug our wall. Almost here, and here we go. So here will be the entrance into this section. And as you can see, simply just running will cause a lot of aggression. The amount that you get is dependent on the run. Obviously some runs you'll have more, as the spawns are semi-random. Now, once you get back to this side here, which is right where we would have popped through on the gate, you're going to want to head up the ramp right here. And to this section. Now from here you can hop up top. Now even if you have a low jump, you can still make this jump here, and then you'll be able to just hop in right over here. So again, you can make it with a low jump. Obviously with a high enough jump you can just jump straight on top of this, but again with a low enough jump, if you're running up against it, you can make that jump. From here you can just head across. Now if you are unable to make that specific jump, up top here we can actually head up and across these right here, which will take you into the intersection. And again, we just want to kind of make our way around all the way around here, but again it will spawn in additional enemies for you to deal with. So just due to the fact that you don't need a lot of jump to make that jump up there, that is why that is the preferred method, and it keeps you out of the fight in order to get up to the big bad boss castle here. So if you took that path along the edge, you'd just be running right across here, again right around the corner, and it'll bring you right to the old stone hall. Now we're gonna hop inside here and give this one a go. Now this one is a bit longer one. However, if you look at the XP on this one, it is a fairly large amount. And with this quest here in the epics, this quest actually drops quite a substantial amount of XP. So the first thing you'll notice here is when we step in, you're in a very small room with one individual person. Now you need to talk to them. Once you talk to them, in your inventory in the first slot that available, you will get a Mirror of Shadows. Now you want to move this to your quick bar, as you will be using this often. Actually, right here is our first time here. Using it will transform us and push us through. Now I want to point something out, and I do apologize, I'm going to point this out right now. If you have sensitive eyes, you might not want to look here for a moment. So as you can see, it's not too bad right now with the way it's set up and the way everything looks. But that is actually because we have the video post effects turned off. In this quest, if you have them turned on, alright, so again, warning, it gets bad. This is how it'll look, and it kind of is squinty. It's really tough to see things, and it's just overall annoying. So I know it does obviously bother a lot of people's eyes. So again, you just want to go to your advanced graphics and turn off those video post effects, and it will make it much easier to see. Or it won't, either way. At least that's something that you can do to definitely ease the sight in this quest. Alright, so now that we're inside here, there is actually a fairly easy path to follow that will get you to every objective that you need, including some of these optionals, but it does skip out on a lot of the breakables, as again, this can be a very long quest. So the first thing I would recommend is grabbing this book on the table. It gives an optional to find the orders. Now, the way this quest is set up is exactly, there are 2 floors. Half of everything is on the bottom floor, and the other half is actually on the top floor, so it does a really nice split. So the first thing we need to do is head south through the door to this section. As you'll see, a couple of enemies, nothing major. Alright, so from here we are going to head off to the east, and we're actually just going to want to keep going here. Now you can hear some fight. Oh, we got the shade never died. Now you can stop to head into these side rooms here. As you'll notice, this one specifically, we did have some Dragon Knights, and again, so this room here, I was actually mistaken. So heading through right here, you're going to want to come, and you're going to want to hit this first room on the left. It has our first Shadow Orb. Now, again, as you see, 4 Shadow Orbs total. There's going to be 4 on the bottom, 4 on the top. And there's also going to be 4 Light Orbs. Again, 2 on the bottom, 2 on the top. Alright, so from there, we're going to want to head, continue east through this door until we get to this passage. At which point you do want to use that mirror, and it'll shift you back over. Again, watch out when you do shift. It can be kind of dangerous, as again, there may or may not be enemies right there. So from here we want to continue off into our next room. And here is our first Light Orb. dropped a lovely trap for us. Alright, so once we have that light orb, we do want to turn around and head through the northern door here. Now again, you can choose to essentially head through all the doors on both sides, but it does take a large amount of time to just keep going back and forth, swapping over already, that typically people just want to get this one done as quick as possible. So from here, we're going to head to our door right here, and then again use our mirror. From here, we're going to head north to this dead-end door, and again use that mirror. So here we go. Once you're done, you want to head through this door here, and it's going to take you into a small little prison with some howlers. Now, I do highly recommend doing this quest with a proper group, including a healer. As well, having a proper group will also aid greatly for the end fight, as it can contain a split if depending on how you want to do that. So once you have these howlers defeated, you do want to head to the back right wall. We have a secret door. Now, if you don't have access to a secret door, you will need to head back to the beginning of the quest. This path that I am going through does require that you can find a secret door, so again, definitely recommend going with the full party. Now, once you're in this little back room, you do want to use the mirror, but be careful, as soon as you pour it over, again, you're going to be in a small little cage here with a bunch of howlers. Now, once the howlers on this cage are defeated, he's going to go ahead and open up this door, which, as you can see, has more howlers on the other side. So just watch yourself. It can be quite the fight. Oh, blast. Now, one thing you definitely do not want to do is this guy here. You definitely do not want to kill him before he has opened up that additional door, as without opening up that door, you can't actually make it through to the chest and through the other path. Alright, once he's defeated, go ahead and grab your loot. And then we're actually going to want to use our mirror right here. Now this will, again, provide us with a little collectible. But we have a door which puts us on the other side of that barricade that we couldn't cross earlier. Now from here, we do want to head further north. And we want to head, just keep going north through our door here. So we're going to use our mirror. And we're going to port through. Once they're done, you're going to want to head and pick up our second shadow orb. So now you'll notice we have 2 left. We still have 1 light orb and 1 order on the bottom floor here. Now our order is actually going to be contained, I believe, through this, not this door, it'll be the next one here. just has a few things to kill. Now I do want to point out, sometimes when you're in these rooms, you will find treasure chests. Now, as enticing as they are, most of them are actually mimics. I've found that it's about 80% of the time it's going to be a mimic, so it is your choice whether or not you want to go for the extra loot and chance that it is actually loot, or if you just want to leave the chest. Personally, I leave the chests. I don't like dealing with the mimics. Alright, so for this point, we do want to use mirror right next to our door. Alright, so we're going to head through. So this door here is the one that we want to head through for the order. So the first little bit, it will have just some of these Shar worshippers, nothing too serious. And then we're going to want to use our mirror inside this room, which I don't know why I was casting my turret there. And then it's going to have a whole bunch of shadows. Now you can, as you see, actually use the mirror outside of this room, and then mirror over, opening up the door and heading in. But I like to head in, kill the guys, mirror. But anyway, that's our second book. So now our shadow orbs and our orders, they will be on the top floor. So from here we want to head out, back to the main path, continue further west, heading to this final room on the far western side here. And then again, we're going to want to port over. Now, as you see, once you do, again, in a small room with some enemies, but it also has our last light orb in here as well. Alright, so once you have all that and everything's at 2, we're going to want to go ahead and exit. Shift over, and we need to head now to the second floor to continue on. So if you look on your map, both the north, south, and in the center, we have these little staircases. The easiest one to get to is obviously the one in the north, as that's right where we are. Then we're going to head on right up the stairs. Now once we get to the top, we are going to head off to the side here. Now I do want to point out that once you shift, it can spawn traps here, so just be careful. As well, it will also have a couple of enemies, so again, just be careful and try not to charge in at them. So yeah, as you see, we did get that spell ward trap, so we can disable that, getting ourselves an additional trap use. But again, this spell ward doesn't always spawn. So this door here, as you can see, we need to head through. And again, it is a dead end. Well, you know what that means. We got to use our mirror to port over. And here we have some enemies. Now, as you can see, porting over directly on that side probably wasn't the smartest move on my part, as we were right next to those enemies. But that's what I mean. When you port over, you don't always know where your enemy is standing, so you just gotta be careful. Another good strategy is you actually time your ports, saying like 3, 2, 1 port, or however you want to work it out. That way you have everybody in at once, and again, don't all stand right on top of each other, because if they do a nice big AoE blast, at least someone might still be left standing. So once you picked up the orb, you're going to want to mirror back over to this side, and we're going to continue east, and we're going to head around this way. So through the door here, we are going to have a door on the left. As you see, there are some shrines in here. We want to head inside. And here we're going to have a caster and a group of people who she actually turns into a bunch of rats. Now, killing the rats will count towards quest kills. So, I mean, they're easy to kill, why not? And then we can go ahead and grab our collectible. Now, right where this collectible is, once we mirror over to the other side, we are going to have another order. At this point, we want to exit, and then mirror back over. So you'll see kind of in a dead end. And we're going to head south. Now, heading south, we come to this door here on our left. We do want to head again through the door. And we want to head into this room, and we'll be able to pick up our light orb. Now, also in this room, actually on this table here, just on the other side, it will have another order. So what some people like to do is actually port into this room here, as it kind of locks you into a very small room. It does have a chest, but right, like I mentioned before, chances are that chest is a mimic. Now on the other side of that door, as you can hear, there are some enemies, but because I have some damage that can go through walls, we can go ahead and just deal out some damage to them before actually stepping through. So I mean, it helps, obviously not needed. I like to do it if I'm in a party. I can hop in here, get the aggro of the people, and they can hop onto the other side. And now that I have the aggro, it's super easy to kill them. So you'll notice that there were a bunch of these assassins, blackguards, and the like. So if you port over in this room, you got a lot to deal with in a bit more room than this tiny little one. But yeah, so it's dealer's choice on how you want to proceed. And again, here's our last tome, and it is worth 1700 experience, so it is a nice chunk. From here, just head through the door, and we're going to continue south. Now we can actually stop and get the orb right here, the shadow orb. However, depending on what side you're on, as if you're not grabbing the books, you might still be on the other side. You can actually pass past that one for now, as we will be returning there. Alright, so for this one, we want to head all the way to the very end of this path. So here we are. Now we are going to need to go through this door right here. But before we do go through that, we can actually head through this secret door here. Now you'll notice we have a pressure plate, but there's no actual traps in here. Even searching won't reveal that. What you need to do is, again, you want to disable this one here on this side. While in this room, you are going to want to port over, and we're actually going to see a whole lot of traps. Now these are the ones that were disabled from the pressure plate that we disabled on the other side. Now there is an additional pressure plate on this side, right there, which is attached to that one trap on the back. Well, it only actually lets you disable one of those two pressure plates. So either you disable this one blade here behind the trap, or all these blades on the side. So it's so much easier to just disable the one on the other side, and then you can safely get your chest, and then you can actually head and hug this wall here. Eventually this door will open, allowing you to head in here and get a couple more kills. Alright, now on the other side of that wall there, we are actually going to have a whole bunch of enemies. Now, in order to get there, we do need to, of course, use our mirror and head through the door. Now, first and foremost, we are going to have a whole bunch of stalkers, and shadow stalkers, sorry. Again, shadows, not that big of a threat, drop fairly quickly and fairly easily. But once we port over, instead of them being shadows and shadow stalkers, they're going to be the assassins. So that is where having that turret on the other side could possibly draw the aggro. So again, I'm just gonna recast that there, and you'll see it coming through the wall once we get back onto this side. So I'm gonna charge up my rune arm, and here we go. So you'll see as I get in here, there they are, and you'll see our turret actually just heading through there, doing little bits of damage. Now, unfortunately, we did get unlucky, and we have a lot of these champ assassins, so you just gotta be careful. Obviously, when dealing with them, they are a nasty, nasty enemy. Now, in here, you'll also notice we have a red name. He is a red name shade. He likes to teleport around. So here he is. And yeah, he's gonna keep popping in and out and attacking. He is a spellcaster, but he does like running up and using melee. And again, teleporting out. Now, of course, you can choose to fight him. If you do fight him and kill him, his chest will be unlocked. Though, I do say kill him, but it's kind of a trick, and kind of a dick move. Before you actually kill him, he like throws himself on his own weapon, basically denying you the pleasure of actually getting that killing blow, which in my mind is kind of a dick thing to do. So yeah, right here he deliberately falls on his dagger just so you don't get the kill. But there's our last of the light orbs. Now, if you had picked up the other shadow orb previously and you're not looking for any of the extras, you can go ahead and use Dimension Door. If, however, you want to get as much experience as you can, what we're going to now do is port back over to this section. And we're going to head all the way back around to where that shadow orb was. Luckily, we don't actually need to use the ports. It's just one straight shot. Here we are. And we're going to want to go, again, right to here. Now, in this section, of course, we want to grab our orb. But down to the left here, right in the corner, we are going to have a Shadowy Beholder spawn in. Now, he won't hit you with anti-magic, but he does like to use Disintegrate and can deal a lot of damage. Now, he does bug out if you fight him from up top here, so you do need to hop down just to avoid him bugging out. So here we go. And as you can see, he does have about 8,000 hit points. It's not a lot, but it can still take a while to take him down, especially if you are solo. And he's worth a fair amount of XP, being almost 2,500. So from here we can grab our loot, which can have named items. There are 2 named items. Again, not overly amazing, but as you can see, that Skulldigger kit, it's actually also not terrible to have as a min 16 item. Alright, so from here, rather than heading up the ladder, we're just going to want to head through this path right here. And we're going to want to open the door. Now as soon as we do, it does open us back to the main section. And from here, we want to start placing in those shadow orbs on these pedestals. Once they're all placed, we now want to use the mirror. And as you see, it has placed that bridge. So this bridge of solid darkness wasn't here before. So it does now allow us to walk over once we got the light, or the shadow. And then here, once we place all the light pedestals, it does drop down that barrier, allowing us to proceed into the end fight. Now, for the end fight, again, as I had mentioned, it does help to have a party. Now, the reason being is, like some of these other bits where we're porting back from one side to the other, you're almost forced to do that here as well. As you damage the enemy, he will shift from the light plane to the shadow plane, and erecting a barrier around him when he does. This makes him 100% immune to even being hit. You would then need to use your mirror to head over to the other side, fight him again, drop him, make him bring up that barrier, and then just keep heading back and forth. If you have a party, you can actually split half and half. Half stays on this side, the other half heads over to the shadow side and fights him there. Now, it does spawn in a few enemies while you are fighting him, so it's not just him. Due to this fact, obviously, if you are in Reaper difficulty, some of those Reaper enemies it spawns in may also bring a Reaper with it. Alright, so there he goes, that barrier. Now, I do want to point out, after I get a heal here, I do want to point out, if you wait long enough, he will eventually port back, but you don't know how long you're waiting for. So we're going to hop over. When you are on the shadow side here, you have to be doubly careful when fighting, as if you die on this side, just like anywhere else, you will drop a soul stone. Okay, not a big deal. But if Tivorus dies and you're dead on this side, when he dies, he immediately ports everyone over to this side. Unfortunately, if you are dead, your soul stone is still on that other side, meaning you're just gonna stay on that other side. You cannot get back to the shadow side, at which point you are then stuck and cannot get any end loot. So if you die, and even if you're gonna be resurrected soon, pick up the soul stone. That'll save you just in case you're 1 second too slow or whatever. At least they'll port over with you and be able to get that end loot. So it's kind of immediately grab the stone, port over, and of course do try to res, but in case of you have your friend or your party member or whoever it happens to be. So it looks like we're just about done here. So you actually get to see the port. So as he falls, as you saw, it immediately ports, so it doesn't even give you time to like run and grab a higher, like a stone or anything like that, so it's very dangerous there. once you've killed him, all you need to do is talk to Aloevain, and quest complete. So as you see, 48, almost 49,000. It took 30 minutes, and we got a couple of additional optionals there for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll say 6, almost an additional 7,000 in ops. So yeah, it's a great XP quest, and doesn't take that long as you know the path. Anyway guys, thank you so much for joining. It's been a blast, and I will see you guys later. Have a good one all.